Okay, so we are going to groom Roberto. And if he's curious, yeah, you can have him smell your hand. And he might want to smell the grooming tools, right? So as we go, if he looks over to you and is interested, then you can let him smell the tools. So if we are doing a full groom on him, we are going to start with a curry comb, and that can look differently. That can look like this rubber kind or the metal kind of curry comb. It can have a handle on the back or just have a little loop. It's really whatever your preference is. You can grab this one. I kind of like the ones with the handles because it's easier to hold. And this tool, so you can let him smell it since he's kind of showing curiosity. This tool is for the big pieces of mud and dirt that might be on him, or his coat, like the dead coat, to get out of his coat. So you're going to take your curry comb and you're going to go in a circular motion against his hair. So you're going to think about going up towards his face. There you go. Good. And you want to use about enough pressure. If you put this on your elbow, right, and you went really, really hard, you can feel that that's too hard, right? But they're fine if you use a decent amount of pressure, right? He might be itchy, he might like it. You're going to be careful, though, around any of the protruding parts of his body. So like his bone here on his hindquarter, and we're not going to go past his shoulder on the leg, right? We're going to make sure to do just the big parts of his body. Good. And we want to pay attention to where the cinch is going to go. So right here, this is the heart girth. So you're going to reach underneath. Good. And you can be more gentle with the under. There you go. Good. Just because that's more of a sensitive area. And we're not going to go underneath where this is his flank. We're not going to go underneath his belly here. We're going to stay on the top of his body. Good. Nice. And you can make smaller circles like this. There you go. We'll reach all the way up to the back of his hindquarter. And we're going to stay on this side of his body just for the sake of the video because we want to keep it more short. Good. Nice. Good. And you can do this wide part of his hindquarter. Good. Nice. And then you'll not go any farther than that. Perfect. Because you can see that all of this is more bone, less meaty parts. So we're doing mostly just the meaty parts of his body with that curry comb. Okay, that looks good. So we're going to tap the curry comb off. Good. And then we're going to use a hard brush and a soft brush. So you can feel the difference between this hard brush and the soft brush. So this one is the soft brush. It's denser and it's softer, right? This is going to be our finishing brush. This hard brush is going to basically sweep everything off of him that we just broke up, right? All the dirt, all the dead hair. And this soft brush is going to be at the end just to get the dust and have him have his hair lay flat. And we are going to start up by his neck. Good job having him smell that brush. Good. And you're going to go with his hair, and you're going to think about doing long strokes and flicking your brush at the end. And if he shifts around, that's okay. You're just going to make sure that your feet are out of his way, right? So he's just adjusting. Good. And you want to think about when you put that brush down on his body to be nice and gentle, right? You don't want to slam it down. You want it to be a smooth movement. If you see his body twitching or flinching, then that's a signal to you that maybe you're going too hard or you're slamming that brush down, or maybe he has a cut in that area. So you're always paying attention to what his body's telling you while you're brushing. Good job remembering where the cinch is going to go. Good. Good. So we're just sweeping all that dirt all the way off of his hindquarter. Excellent. Good. That looks good. So then we're going to clean our brush before we put it back. So you're going to take your curry comb and you're going to run your brush along that curry comb. Sorry, I got it right in your face. Good. And it's not going to be perfect because they're really dirty right now. So we just do the best that we can. And then if you can find a soft brush for me, right? There you go. Perfect. Same thing. He wants to smell that brush, right? So you can have him smell it. And then you're going to start up at his neck. We're not going to groom his face today, but if we were going to, that soft brush is a good option. Nice. Good. And you can see how much more shiny he looks after the soft brush. Gets that really like fine dust out of his coat. Has everything lay nice and flat. So curly on his neck. He really is curly, huh? He's very wavy. Huh, sir? Very wavy. Good. So we'll clean that brush out. And then we're going to pick his feet out. Okay, so this is a hoof pick, right? There's a brush part where we can brush the hoof, or this metal part that we use to pick his foot out. You're going to hold it like this so that it comes, the pointy part is towards your pinkies, right? Hello, sir. Okay, so you're going to watch me pick his foot up first, and then I'll have you try afterwards. So there's a few key parts that you need to know before you pick this foot up. This little piece of skin here is called the chestnut, right? And that's how we cue him to pick his foot up. So we're not just going to go down to his fetlock and yank at his hair, right, to have him pick up the foot. We're going to cue him by touching that chestnut, right? And my first cue for him is that I'm going to put my hand on his shoulder. So my hip is going to be towards his shoulder. My hand is going to go on his shoulder. And you can see that he's already shifting, right? Because this is the first thing that I do each time I pick his foot up. I put my hand on his shoulder and run my hand down the inside of his leg to the chestnut. And then I squeeze with my fingertips, if I need to, on that chestnut. And then when he picks it up, I'll grab the fetlock, right, with my hand that's closest to his body. Okay, then I'm going to hold down by the hoof, right? So I have some fingers on the hair by the coronary band and his hoof, and we can see that he has pads on his feet, right? So there's not much to pick out here, but I'm still going to check his feet each time we ride or we take him out, just to make sure that this shoe has not shifted and everything looks good, right? And then I'm going to shift my hand up back by the fetlock and then put his foot down gently once I'm done. I make sure that my feet are pointing towards his hindquarter and that my feet are not underneath him, right? If I go to pick his foot up and my foot is down here underneath where his foot's going to go, he can step on my foot, right? So I'm always making sure that my hip and my feet are outside that range of where his foot is going to be set down. For his back foot, I'm going to put my hand on his hindquarter, and then my cue comes from the top part of the hock here to pick his foot up. So you can see he already kind of knows, right? He does this a lot. Are you going to poop on us? He does this a lot, so he's pretty light with his cues. So my hip is now next to his hindquarter. My hand is going to go onto his hindquarter and slide down to the inside of the top of his hock. And I can squeeze. Now he's picking up the other foot for me, which is fine, but we're just going to ask him to switch. So I'm going to squeeze that hock until he moves his fetlock joint, right, and lifts that foot up for me. And then I will grab his fetlock. So I'm going to run my hand down that hock to the fetlock and then pull his foot back. And he doesn't have a shoe on this foot, so we're actually going to be picking it out. So I look for the cleft that's in between the frog, which is a triangle in the center of the foot, and then come over here next to me, just so that you're not standing in the range of where he would kick. I look for the cleft in between the frog and the sole of the foot, right? So this is the hoof wall on the outside. I'm going to go up to this part of the foot, this like corner here, and pull my hoof pick down diagonally to the toe, to his toe down here, right? I'm not going to start picking in the middle where his sulcus is. See how he flinched a little bit? It's more sensitive right there, right? So we would just use the brush to pick that part out of his foot. And then I can kind of see where that groove is starting on this side, right? Between that triangle frog and the sole of the foot. So I'm going to put my hoof pick right in that groove and bring my hoof pick down towards his toe. Just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to reach my hand back towards his fetlock and gently put his foot down. Good boy. Okay. And then I'm going to have you try it. There's your hoof pick. Good. So you're going to flip it over in your hand and hold tightly. Good. And then bring that foot back underneath for me. Yeah, back underneath your hip. Looks good. Nice. Very dirty. Okay. Nice. And then it's easy to see where that cleft is since it's already picked out. Nice. Very, very dirty. Part of being a horse girl. Very nice.